You're gonna go down and get some strokes. Oh, you're away. You've been outside in the rain. Hi, I'm Tally and it's a Romantasy bingo time. If you haven't heard of the Romantasy bingo, this has been put together by Casti from Covers with Casti, and it's inspired by the Art Fantasy bingo challenge that Reddit runs every year. So this will run from the 1st of November 2025 to the end of October 2026. So if you want to join in, now is the time to build your TBR. Let's go through my TBR. Let's go through my current TBR. This is subject to change. If I read something that I realise fits one of these prompts even better, or that I've already finished and I know it fits a prompt, I might pop it in. But this is my current TBR. So this is the bingo board. We're going to go along each row and just discuss what I've put in for these prompts. If you have any that you think would suit it better though, please let me know in the comments. The first one is new release. It's a book that was published in a year you read it, and hard mode is a debut author. Obviously I have built my TBR with hard mode in mind, and I've put in The Last Starborn Seer, and this is by Venetia Constantine. I met Venetia this year and I was lucky enough to get a arc of her upcoming release. This comes out in, I think it's March next year, so I'll have to wait until 2026 starts in order to read this, but I am very excited. Hearing Venetia talk about it as well just sparked so much excitement in me. Next is A Hidden Identity, and hard mode is not royalty. I have put in, and please let me know if this doesn't fit the prompt, but I've put in the Veins of the Drowning by Kaylee Cassidy. This is the first in a duology, and it's pitched for fans of Rachel Gillick and Ava Reed, about a siren who forges a marriage bond. So as far as I could see, this will fulfill this prompt. For number 3, we have Take Down the System, a plot revolving around rebellions and revolutions, and the hard mode is a dystopian setting. So I have popped in The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I have seen this listed on a few lists, so I think it does fulfill this prompt. I've been wanting to read this series, and knowing that she is re-releasing it with her, I don't know, like changing the writing or how she edits, etc. now, I think it's like a really good time to pick up this series. Next is a BIPOC author, and the hard mode is Flowers on the Cover. I am going to read Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lin Tan. I've had this sitting on my shelf for so long and I really need to pick it up, and I'm very excited to finally pick it up. This is the first in the Celestial Kingdom series. Follows a young woman whose mother has been exiled from the kingdom, and then she finds that she has magical powers and she has to go on the run. And the last one in this row is first person, with a hard mode being a new to you author. It's really hard to find this information, and I am kind of terrible of being aware of in which way books are written. If someone was like, I really hate third person books or whatever, and I'd literally be like, I cannot tell you a single book off the top of my head that is third person or anything like that. But The Wolf King by Lauren Palfreman, I think, will fulfill this. This is a romantic start of a series. I think they pretty much all are. And this follows a princess that's kidnapped by an alpha wolf, something along those lines. It came out a few years ago, and we shall see. Moving down to the next row, we have Blank of Blank, and this is, the title is exactly in this pattern, no extra words, just Blank of Blank. So it can't be like Blank of Blank and Blank, it's just Blank of Blank. And the hard mode is No Fae, which was definitely a hard mode. This might have been one of the hardest to find. I have settled on Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass. This is the first in the Villains of Law series, and the second book is out as well, so if I enjoy this I could go straight into the second book. And it's set in a Spartan war academy, and we follow a young girl who finds out she's got the blood of Hercules, or that's the name of it. She finds out she's got the blood that gives her fighting powers or something along those lines. I'll be able to tell you what it's about when I read it. But there's definitely no fae. For number 7, we have the Indie to Trad Pipeline. So this is a book and or series that was indie published but then was picked up traditionally. And Hard Mode is a sequel. And for this, I've popped in a book that I've been wanting to get round to since I finished the first book, and that is City of Mirth and Malice by Alexis Maynard. This is the second and final book in the Order and Chaos series. It's like a steampunk romantasy, and I just absolutely devoured the first book, so I don't understand why I haven't read the second book yet. But this has been traditionally published now. Number 8 is Rep Matters, and this is a book that has some sort of representation. The hard mode being ears and own voices for that representation. I'll be reading 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This is a YA, I believe, romantasy series, and it is steeped in East Asian mythology. I've had this on my peripheral for a while, so I'm excited to put in this TBR so that I make sure I pick it up soon. We then have Start a New Series, and Hard Mode is author writes multiple genres. So this one, it does technically count. I have popped in Hunt on Dark Waters by Katie Robert. It's the first in the Crimson Sails series. And the reason I say technically is because usually Katie Robert, while she does write some fantasy things, it's more erotica leaning, and this one is like a straight romantasy. So I'm very much looking forward to this. It has a captain meets a witch and romance blossoms, and yes, I really want to pick up this series. And then completing this row for an urban setting, and Hard Mode is a secondary world that is not of our own. I have got City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. If this doesn't fulfill this prompt, please let me know soon, because this is a 760 page book. But yeah, this is the start of a series following a human trying to get by, and then I don't know, maybe she finds out she's got a secret power or something. That's usually how romancy books go, and that's not negative. I didn't mean that in a negative way at all. Moving on to row 3, the first book is Ghosts and Ghouls, and Hard Mode is the love interest is one. And I have popped in a book that I was intended on picking up this month, hopefully, and it was the book that Cassidy mentioned as well, so it was perfect. And that is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This is the first in the Wicked Games series, which follows a young woman as she, to get revenge for her sister's death or to find her sister, she enters these deadly games in a haunted mansion, and I believe the love interest is a ghost. What more could you possibly want? The next one is A Voice Inside Your Head, and Hard Mode is not an animal companion. I actually found this really hard, and the book I've picked, I don't know if it 100% fits it. It's the second book in a series. The first book will fit it, but the second book I'm not sure if it follows a different character. But this is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. So this is the second book in the Shepherd King series. The first book, One Dark Window, would fit this prompt. If you haven't read One Dark Window, I really recommend that. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure if this follows, I think her name was Elspeth from the beginning, from the first book, or if it follows a different character. But the magic in this is like almost tarot card based. Elspeth hears a creature or like the magic in her head, so this would definitely fulfill that. Well, at least the first book would. For a friend's recommendation, and Hard Mode is recommended from Cassidy's channel, I've picked a book that I've been wanting to get to for a while, and that's Heavenly Bodies by Imani Ariu. I have been checking this out for a while. It's the first in a series. I've only heard good things. This is actually a debut as well, and it has a world that's ruled by stars. There's mythology elements, various magic. I don't know a lot about these books going into them, and the synopses all usually sound roughly the same. So, yeah, but I have been wanting to read this for a while. For a book talk hype, and hard mode is still indie at the time of reading. This is a book that I've had out of from my KU library for quite a while, and I found out about it through a lot of TikTok videos at one point, and that is Plie by Jane Washington. It's the first in the Ironside Academy. It's like a ballet school reality show, and there's magic, and there's like hierarchy within the magic users, and it's a why choose romance. I think there's 10 love interests, but yeah, I really want to pick up the first book in this series, see what I think. It's quite a long book though. And then the final one is a forbidden romance, and a hard mode is not enemies to lovers, and I've decided to read Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft. And this is a reimagining of a romance between the Queen of Pixie Hollow and the Lord of the Winter Woods. They're not enemies, but they're from different kind of realms, and it is quite frowned upon for them. They have to combine forces on a quest, and then romance ensues. I read recently A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft, and I quite enjoyed it, and I quite enjoyed in particular the blossoming romance between the main characters. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens in this, and it's been so long since I've read a proper like fairy romance, not fae romance, a fairy romance. So I am excited to pick this up. Then if we move on to row 4, we start with trials, and the hard mode is an academic setting, which made it so much harder because I could pick loads of trials books, and all of the ones that I could think of that had an academic setting I'd already read. But I did find The Ordeals by Rachel Greenlaw, and this is the first in the Kilmarth Trials series. This is a atmospheric romantasy that follows an illusionist who has to complete deadly trials for a spot in a magical college. So I am assuming the trials take place at the college, or if not, they're related enough that I'm going to allow it for myself. But yeah, if you've read this book, let me know. It does sound really interesting. 4-2+ love interests and hard mode, not a love triangle. I have such beef with the term love triangle, because for me a love triangle has to be all three of them together. It's a triangle. Those guys have to be involved as well. If they're not, it's a love corner. So I'm just saying that is a hill I will die on. But I have popped in Her Feral Beast by E.P. Barley. This is the first in her Vicious Beast series. And my understanding is this has like shifter or something along those lines romance. There's mates in it. There's obviously multiple love interests above 2. We'll see what I think when I read it. And then a single POV with hard mode being published 5 or more years ago. I've popped in Dead Until Dark by Charlene Harris. This is the first in the Sookie Stackhouse, or the Southern Vampire, or the True Blood, the Southern Vampire Mysteries, or the True Blood series, whatever you want to call it. I know it's the Southern Vampire Mystery series, but I know that it is often listed as the Sookie Stackhouse series now, or people just refer to it as True Blood from the TV show. Anyway, this is the first book I have read this quite some time ago. We're looking at like 10 years ago or something. I was making my way through the series. I don't remember how many I got up to. I'm going to guess at around the 7 or 8 book mark, but there are 13 books. There's 13 books. And at this point it would be a full reread. So I've put the first book in here, but it would be, I guess, whatever book I get to that I remember that, or rather I don't remember. But yeah, I really enjoyed this series. I enjoyed the mystery element of it. I enjoy all of the various paranormal figures, and it's just a really fun feel good. It's kind of feel good. It's a really fun book series, in my opinion. The next one we have is a court setting, and the hard mode is an animal on the cover. I found this quite hard actually. All of the court setting ones I could think of I'd already read or didn't have an animal on the cover. I've settled on An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This follows Isabel, who is a artist, and she is hired by fae folk to carry out their artistic whims because they cannot do any form of creative work without crumbling to dust or turning into stone or something along those lines. And it's set within like a court structure, and I think that our main character gets involved in taking down like the current ruling or something. I'm not sure. I will let you know, I guess, when I read it. To finish off this row, we have A Whole New World, and this is the main characters transported somewhere new, aka Portal Fantasy, and hard mode is it's a retelling or a reimagining. So I have put in here The Secret World of Briar Rose by Cindy Pham. This comes out next year. Cindy is a booktuber. You probably have seen her videos come up at some point in your For You feed. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and it's about escapism, grief, etc. And I am very excited for this. The cover looks beautiful. I think it's like a March or April release. Now we're on to our final row. So we have Reluctant Allies to Lovers, and the hard mode is A Marriage of Convenience. I really struggled with this one, so if you do have recommendations, please share them. At the moment I have in here Tethered by Elena R. Galea, and this is a dark romantasy about a marriage of convenience, or an arranged marriage to a vampire prince. I'm assuming, I mean, that hits the marriage of convenience. I'm assuming they're reluctant allies to lovers. I don't know until I read it. Then on to a one-word title, and the hard mode is a gothic book. And I have this book sitting on my shelves at the moment, and that is Neverthorn by Shannon Mayer. This is the first of the Quirks and Curses series, and it follows someone who goes to Neverthorn Academy, and it's been comped to Zodiac Academy, which is a book series I'm quite enjoying, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this book gives us. For a shifter romance, that sounds easy, but the hard mode is not wolves, and that does make it slightly harder. I am going to pick up Kiss of the Basilisk by Lindsay Strobe. This is the first in the Split or Swallow series. I've had this out from KU for a while. I can't remember where I first heard about it, but it sounded interesting, and it has basilisks in it, and it has a element of like a competition of who is going to marry the king or the prince, whatever. I hate how much I enjoy this kind of book, like the Selection, like what was that one I recently read, The Rose Bargain. I don't know why I enjoy this micro trope so much, but I absolutely do. Oh, Trials of the Sun Queen. In real life, do I think women should be competing for a man? No. In a book, I love it. I love to see it. The next one I struggled with. This was another one I was on the struggle bus with. And it is A Weapon on the Cover, and hard mode is a powerless main character. And yeah, I really struggled. I have A Torch Against the Night, which is the second in the Amber and the Ashes series by Saba Tahir. I read the first one a few years ago now, and I think this does fulfill this. I think. But please let me know if you've read it more recently, or you remember the series better than me, and if I'm wrong, please let me know. But I'm quite certain this does fulfill that prompt. And the final one is a chunky series, a series that's 4 or more books. You can read any of the books in the series, and the hard mode is that there's multiple series that have like an unconnected world or characters or whatever. So I am going to read Zodiac Academy, the next book in that. I think I'm on to book 6, which is Fated Throne. I am probably going to be doing a reread of this, but the authors have a spin-off or have other series that are set in the same world, so that definitely fulfills this prompt. So that is my current TBR for the Romantasy Bingo made by Cassidy. I am so excited to put this together. I love building bingo TBRs or TBRs in general, but I particularly like the bingo board. I don't know why, but here I am. Let me know if you are taking part. I will link Cassidy's video down below if you want to go and take a look at it. But thank you for spending some time with me today. Please consider leaving a like or subscribe or a comment, anything to help the algorithm in helping more people find my videos. I'd really appreciate that, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye friends.